Welcome to DeviceAlliance's Medical Device Industry Spotlight program. My name is Travis Smith, your host and president of DeviceAlliance. If this is the first time you've joined us and or you're unfamiliar with DeviceAlliance, we're a nonprofit professionals association solely dedicated to strengthening the vitality of the medical device industry here in Southern California. And we accomplish this through three initiatives: knowledge and education, strategic connections, and career advancement for professionals in the local device industry. Our program today, the Industry Spotlight, it's our way of offering the industry a sneak peek inside the companies that make up our local industry here in SoCal. Through these efforts, we really look to create a more intimate community for all of our device professionals. And today with us, we have Harold Flynn, CEO and president of Biolase out of Irvine. Harold, thanks for being with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Travis. Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you.
Excellent.
Well, Harold, why don't we start off with you providing us with a quick bio on Biolase so that our listeners have a little bit more understanding on what your company is all about.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Travis. Well, Biolase is a medical device company headquartered here in Irvine, California, that we develop, manufacture, and market laser systems in dentistry and also medicine. We operate globally around the world and are the world's leaders in providing dental lasers to the healthcare professionals that improve the patient's quality of life in dental practices around the world. We've had the opportunity to sell well over 30,000 lasers in over 90 countries throughout our history, and we're perched and poised to actually increase the penetration of dental lasers throughout the world with several new products that we're just about to introduce.
You know, I actually had an opportunity recently to be over at your facility, and I must say the Waterlase system that you all have, that is a pretty slick product, especially the paint job you have on there. It looks like it came right out of the Ferrari factory.
Indeed. It is Ferrari red with carbon fiber accents.
Well, we're certainly happy to have you with us today. So, Harold, why don't we jump right into our first question here. Can you share with us what problem or challenge Biolase's products address on behalf of patients?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there are a lot of healthcare conditions that really relate overall and are affected by dental health. It may surprise people to understand that nearly half of the adults over 30 suffer from some type of periodontal or inflammatory gum disease. And those conditions are actually connected to a number of overall systemic health issues that are experienced by the population, especially as they age over time. That includes an increased risk of stroke, increased respiratory disease, osteoporosis, reproductive challenges, diabetes, and heart disease can all be traced back in several ways to issues related to gum disease and poor oral health overall. So that oral systemic connection is something that's very important. So our purpose here at Biolase is really to restore and repair the dental anatomy, to alleviate pain in patients and reduce the fear and anxiety related to dentistry so that patients can have improved overall health as well as quality of life and aesthetics.
With your role overseeing the organization, what's Biolase doing right now that excites you?
Well, thanks, Travis. There's a lot that we're doing that's exciting. We've spent a number of years developing this market and have really captured the early adopter on the technology life cycle, if you think about a crossing the chasm sort of model. And now as we think about our product portfolio, being the world's leader in dental lasers, we're developing the organization both from a portfolio perspective as well as a commercial and execution perspective to really move into that next phase of technology adoption, which for anybody that has read the book Crossing the Chasm is going into the early majority. So really crossing over and providing practical products that are easy to use, and people can be well trained and have great experiences in the clinic overall. As you know, dentistry can be a very anxiety and fear-ridden thing for folks, and not something that's pleasant to do. And we're excited by changing that experience by introducing technology to clinicians around the world.
Given what you shared with us about Biolase's specialty, and certainly with the piece of changing the patient's experience, how is Biolase going about actually changing the industry given your product line?
What the product lines do is they put minimally invasive procedures in the hands of dentists. A lot of times what's happened for patients is they have good oral hygiene. They try to go to the dentist twice a year and have their cleanings. But despite all of that, they'll have some chronic inflammatory disease that has to be dealt with. And oftentimes the general practitioner will have to take an approach that basically monitors the disease, and when it gets bad enough, it actually will be sent out to a specialist for more advanced surgery, which is usually more painful, more invasive, and oftentimes much more expensive. So what our technologies allow, like many good technologies do, is that frontier of treatment to be brought from not only the specialist, but to intervene in those disease states earlier. Because the general practitioner is not trained in complex and invasive surgery. But our technology really marries together the type of activity they do every day, like probing the gums and the like, and it mimics that in a way that actually can use the laser technology to perform minimally invasive surgery. And with our all-tissue lasers, that includes manipulation and surgery on the gums, as well as manipulation of the enamel on teeth, as well as the bone around teeth. But they can now do that in the comfort of the dental chair inside their general practitioner's office, and oftentimes the patient really likes to be treated in the environment they're familiar with. We'd be changing the industry by pulling a lot of that treatment earlier in the process and allowing that to be done in the environment that they're used to every 6 months.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, I wish my dentist had that.
Exactly.
So, Harold, with you looking at 2017 for Biolase, what can the local device community expect from your organization? Is there anything that you all have going on right now that maybe is new for the organization that we should know about?
Oh, that's a great question, Travis. We just introduced 2 new game-changing platforms at recent shows during the first quarter of this year. So as any company introduces new technology and new products, you should expect to see us ramp up over the course of the next several quarters. We're actually doing some hiring locally. We're looking at expanding our capabilities not only technically, but as well as in our commercial channels and our marketing and sales departments. So we should be experiencing growth. We would expect to see our sales start to climb, as we've discussed being a public company during our public conference calls, and really starting to get the word out more widely and get the awareness up of dental lasers in general and the great benefits that they have. So we have to have dentists really stop being stuck on their traditional methods and employ these technologies. So we'll be making a press for them as well as a press to the patients, so that patients become aware these technologies are available and they can have a better experience than they've typically enjoyed.
You had mentioned Biolase has 2 new product lines. Which would those be?
So the Waterlase Express is our new, smaller, lighter, and more affordable all-tissue laser solution that's based on our erbium chromium YSGG laser technology that does both hard tissue and soft tissue. And then we have the top-of-the-line diode soft tissue laser called the Epic Pro. And that's exciting for us because oftentimes the professionals that do a lot of surgery and require a lot more exacting and faster cutting have not typically used diode soft tissue lasers. And in this case, we can now access the oral surgeon market, the high surgery periodontist market, and several other areas where you have to have the best of the best in terms of cutting speed and control and tissue management.
Wow. So the Express, is that more of a tabletop version?
Yes, the Express, if you did see our Waterlase I+, which is a floor model that sits on wheels, and as you said, it comes in Ferrari red and with carbon fiber accents. Our Waterlase Express is about 1/4 the size, 1/3 the weight, and nearly half the list price here in the United States as our other model. So it is a tabletop, it's portable, and that's a lot of what the dental professionals need these days, having multiple offices to practice in and the like. They'd like to take this great technology with them and have that available anytime they're patient side.
Well, you all certainly have a lot going on over there this year.
Yes, there's no shortage of things to do. Keeps us all quite busy.
Well, Harold, I know I told you there would only be 4 questions, but there is a surprise 5th.
Oh, excellent.
So,
I love pop quizzes.
I'm sure you do. So, Harold, we'd like to know, if you could have a superpower, what would you like to have and why?